Tonight, as Democrats get ready to take the reins of the House, they and we are asking, what will the next 2 years look like? We discuss that with Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi. Also, yet another Florida recount, and yet again, President Trump alleging fraud with no proof when things don't go his way. Is this a preview of things to come for 2020? And later, President Trump visits the French over the weekend, and now he's getting fried. His behavior at ceremonies marking the end of World War I getting a ton of attention, but as usual, for all the wrong reasons. Good evening and welcome to RFL. I'm Andrew Whitman, in tonight for Richard French. For months, we had asked the question, can Democrats make a stand in the 2018 midterm elections? Well, they did. So what happens now? The win in the House means Nancy Pelosi is likely to become the next Speaker of the House. And if for any reason she's not the next Speaker, another Democrat will wield that gavel instead. And we know what mission number one will be for the Dems, pushing back on the Trump agenda, blocking bills that would have passed these past 2 years, so laws on health care, immigration, taxes, pending, and more don't get worse. And then there's oversight. That's already a priority for the Democrats, especially with Matt Whitaker, now the acting attorney general, given his criticism of the Russia probe and of Robert Mueller as special counsel as well. That's already on the mind of the man next in line to chair the House Judiciary Committee. New York Congressman Jerry Nadler says Whitaker and Mueller will be his day one priorities once he's running Judiciary.
The very first thing, obviously, is to protect the Mueller investigation. The president's dismissal of Attorney General Sessions and his appointment of Whitaker, who's a complete political lackey, is a real threat to the integrity of that investigation. And we will certainly hold hearings on that. And our very first witness after January 3rd, we will subpoena or we will summon, if necessary, subpoena Mr. Whitaker.
That's a good place to start, but if all Democrats do with control of the House is protect Mueller, investigate the administration, and block a Republican agenda, will that be enough, especially with 2020 lurking around the corner? And what more can and should the party do with control of the House, and how will that work? For answers to those and other questions, I spoke earlier today with another member of the New York delegation. Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi is ranking Democratic member and likely next chairwoman of the House Appropriations Committee. She represents the 17th District, which includes Westchester and Rockland counties. Congresswoman, a lot of people are looking at the results from election night. They note the split result with the Democrats controlling the House and Republicans controlling the Senate, suggesting that what voters did was really just in reaction to President Trump. What's your reaction to that?
I am so excited seeing over 100 women running for office and winning and focusing on the issues. I really look forward to working with all the women and some new men who were elected. But clearly, I think that some of the actions of Donald Trump turned off people, certainly in my district. The kind of language, the tweets all day long, was very, very offsetting to many people.
So do Democrats have a mandate from voters as a result of this election beyond just stop Trump?
Oh, there's a clear mandate. There's a mandate on health care. People were enraged when the Republicans wanted to get rid of coverage for those with pre-existing conditions. So health care in general, as a result of the Affordable Care Act, will be a mandate. Infrastructure, making sure you look around here and look at our roads, bridges, highways, needs so much work, and it creates jobs when you do that. Education, Head Start, making sure youngsters don't have to, I won't say go to a bank and beg for money for their college education. We really have to do something about Pell Grants and making sure that college is affordable. I go to Westchester Community College on a regular basis, and these youngsters have 2-3 jobs, so we've got to do something about college tuition. I would think there's a different climate, and through appropriations we can address a whole range of issues. And working with Senator Shelby and Senator Leahy, we managed last session to get, even when I wasn't in the majority, to get rid of all what we call, quote, poison pills, language to deal with gun violence, health care. They want to get rid of the right to choose. So there are a whole range of issues that we were able to address working in a bipartisan way in the Senate.
You're the incoming chairwoman of the Appropriations Committee. That's an enormously influential position. You'll also have the power of the purse as a method of potentially blocking the president's actions or Republican agendas. How does that work exactly?
That's a great question, because in the last session there were 150 amendments that Democrats offered having to do with women's issues, health care, the environment, all the things that the Republicans have been legislating against. Now, guess what? The Republicans on appropriations voted against every single one of them. So I'm hoping we can be proactive, address the issues that average people care about, health care, jobs, gun violence, and then work out an arrangement with the Senate.
So Democrats will only control the House, which means that they can certainly block laws or bills that come out of the Senate, but can't get anything passed into law without getting the support of the Senate and the White House. That really raises the risk that Democrats might be seen as being even more obstructionist in this next 2 years. How do you prevent that from being the takeaway?
I believe in action, and we are going to work together in a positive way to address the concerns of not just my constituents in Westchester, but people all throughout the country. Everyone wants health care, everyone wants jobs, everyone wants to be sure that everyone has an opportunity to reach for the stars, to get a college education without becoming bankrupt. So I'm feeling very positive about it. So I'm always positive about it. And if the Republicans want to be obstructionists, we'll deal with that.
It's easy to envision a point where Democrats in the House and Republicans in the Senate just draw lines in the sand on an issue and say, there's no more dealing, we're just at loggerheads on this. Do you envision a scenario where there could be a government shutdown, or is that something that should be avoided?
Oh, government shutdown is the worst thing. And I would hope that the Republicans won't be foolish enough in the Senate to even think about shutting the government down.
You have a lot of new members joining you, not just in the Democratic Party, but also in the New York caucus. One of them is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She and others, especially as the 2020 election process begins, may try to push the party further to the left. How much influence will they have, and how difficult will it be to sort of keep the party and the caucus focused?
I'm not concerned at all. We always have a big tent in the Democratic Party, from the right to the left to the center. I had a meeting with the new representative from Queens. The delegation met with her. She seemed to be very cooperative, and we'll take issue by issue, and hopefully we can all work together.
Two questions about friends and allies of yours in the news. First of all, Nancy Pelosi, will she be Speaker?
She will be the Speaker. She deserves to be the Speaker. I will vote for her as Speaker. And there is nobody who has worked harder to bring us to this point.
Next up, Hillary Clinton. There's a piece in the Wall Street Journal today saying that she should run or consider running in 2020. She's a friend of yours. Would it be good for the party if she runs? And is it better if she announces that she's stepping aside and not running?
I think it's time for a new candidate to run for president.
Finally, your own future. I want to ask you about that. You're about to get the gavel as the chairwoman of the Appropriations Committee, but a lot of Democrats in the area are wondering what your future plans are. Have you made up your mind about 2020? Do you have a game plan laid out for, do you know what you're...
I just deal week by week, face the challenges. When you're a mother of 3 and a grandmother of 8, you learn to deal every day with the challenges that face you. I'm facing this year with enthusiasm. I'm looking forward to being the chair of the committee and doing lots of good things for Westchester, for Rockland, and frankly, for the whole country and the world.
So it was too soon to ask.
Of course.
Congresswoman, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Too soon to ask, but had to try. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, President Trump visits Europe again and manages to insult both our European allies, plus our war dead and veterans in the process, and all in one weekend.